Covering vast swaths of the Southwest, mesquite trees are often encountered but seldom appreciated. They're scrubby, they're brushy, they're covered in thorns. In fact, mesquite trees are often considered a nuisance. And in the early 19th century, settlers to this area cleared whole forests of mesquite to open up land for cattle ranching or raising crops. But from an ecological and a cultural perspective, it's difficult to overstate the importance of mesquite.
Welcome to the Desert National Wildlife Refuge. I'm standing here at Corn Creek. Behind me is a honey mesquite tree. This tree, along with the screwbean mesquite, are extremely important to the landscape here for both wildlife and the human peoples that have traditionally populated this. This is a native tree, grows about 20 to 30 feet tall. It is found in areas that have springs or seeps or drainages. Together they form dense riparian woodlands known as bosques. Here in the northern Mojave Desert, water is at a premium, and these trees will go to any length to obtain it. In fact, some of these trees have taproots, or the central driving root, that can go down 190 feet or more to reach water down into subterranean aquifers.
The Southern Piute peoples here at Corn Creek lived here for thousands of years, and it's very difficult to truly demonstrate the importance of mesquite. These pods, the food that they produced, the fuel and the building materials that the plants themselves produced were incredibly important to Southern Piute peoples in this area on an annual and oftentimes daily basis. So we're here at the end of Whispering Bend Trail, and we have right here a large bedrock mortar, and the pods themselves, you'd throw the whole thing in there. You'd have a stone pestle. You'd grind these down into a fine powder, sift them a couple of times in a winnowing tray, and then you would have delicious food to use throughout the rest of the year.
Now, it's not just humans that enjoy eating mesquite. There's a variety of wildlife that also consumes it as well, including ground squirrels, cottontail rabbits, and coyotes. Now, this is beneficial beyond just the nutritional value to the wildlife. It also helps the trees quite a bit. The consumption and then eventual dispersal of these seeds via scat helps to grow the species into new areas, new territories. But also, while being in a digestive tract, the seeds go under a process known as scarification, whereby digestive juices and acids will actually break down the hard outer coating on the seeds and make them more readily to germinate when they are eventually deposited.
The tree provides shade, shelter, and sustenance in a very harsh, arid environment. And many plants and animals would not exist out here without mesquite.
Now, if you've been out on the refuge, you might have noticed a strange-looking plant growing on these mesquite trees. This is known as desert mistletoe. This particular plant is parasitic, meaning it drills its roots into the wood of the mesquite tree in order to gain moisture and some nutrients. You also notice that in the later months that the mistletoe will have these berries on the end. These berries actually serve as food for some of the wildlife out here, including a bird known as the phainopepla.
From the nitrogen-fixing bacteria in the roots of mesquite that enrich the soil for other plants, to the hundreds of spikes of tiny yellow blossoms full of nectar and pollen that are sustenance for pollinators, mesquite trees nourish the desert from the ground up.
While mesquite trees and their fruits and pods might be readily abundant here at the refuge, it's actually legal to remove anything. I know you might be curious to try and see what these things taste like, but the good news is you can actually buy pre-processed mesquite flour at your local health food store. If you have any more questions about mesquite, come see me here at the Corn Creek Visitor Center at the Desert National Wildlife Refuge.